Hello, everyone. Welcome back to yet another episode of Soul Chat by Project Lily. Today, we are going to dig deep into some exciting and interesting topics, such as what is love, dating, what's its purpose, is there someone called the soulmate, a little about marriage too. So, joining today are two wonderful people from the Project Lily family. We have Mr. Jacob and Mr. Binz. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Okay, so I guess before we get into the topics, we will just get to know each other. So, Jacob Chatak.
Right. I am a family man for 4 kids, and I am a designer by profession. So that's what I do. That's who I am.
Yeah, so my name is Binz. I also a family man, married 2 kids, basically by profession an engineer, working in Bangalore for the last 9 years.
I'm a campus student. In fact, I've been there for a while now. So I've seen people who are in and out of relationships. Some of them having really thriving relationships. They seem to be very happy. Maybe they're like high school sweethearts who met in school and then they're continuing the relationship in campus. Some others who have gone through really hard breakups and they are just struggling with the trauma. And some others who are just through the cycle of use and misuse, and it has got me thinking, the common factor here, at least what they say, is that they are in love, like even though in all kinds of relationships they say they are in love. So it keeps me it keeps me thinking, what is it to actually say that you are in love when you say that, oh, I've
Right.
fallen for this person?
Right. I think this is a good spot to probably define love. But before that, a lot of people think attraction is love. What is attraction? Attraction is when in the other person I see values that really appeals to me. It can be sensual, physical attraction, or it could be a talent, a character,
A quality.
a demeanor, a behavior, the way he talks, and so that can be an attraction for me, and I love that. I love something about that man. I love, he's so bubbly, he's so handsome, he's so beautiful. So there's something that appeals to me.
Yeah.
That's called attraction. It's not love. We define that as love. Just allow me to define love.
Yeah.
You may have heard this term that love is willing the good of the other.
There is an update to that. Love is effectively willing the good of the other person.
Yeah.
Meaning,
Yeah.
you are doing something about,
Yeah.
you're making sure that
Yeah, it's
something
it's so when you say when you will, it's not just a desire.
Yeah.
It is an execution of
There is
that.
an act.
You take that step.
Because intellect gives you what is truth, and will is how you live out. By your will, you live it out. When you desire the best of the other person, and Thomas Aquinas defined it that way. And it was a good start for me.
Yeah.
But then for me, it was completed when I heard what John Paul II said about love. He said it is sincerely making a gift of yourself to the other.
Gift
A
of
self-gift. Making a gift of yourself to the other. So what I would love to do is to combine these two. So
Thomas Aquinas and John Paul.
and John Paul. So it'll be like you make a gift of yourself to the other, willing the good of the other. Right? So that's what love is. If emotion was love, all that I need to do at home to my wife and my kids is that, call them all and say, you know what, how much I love you. Yeah? And my heart pounds for you every day, and I can give all these emotional stuff and then,
Right.
feel. So love is, I want the best for my children. I want the best for my wife. So I give my life for them. I am willing to forego my aspirations, my dreams for them. Okay, so for me, they are bigger than my own little aspirations and desires and all that, that's when it becomes love, okay? So,
So maybe
reducing...
attraction is like a part of love. Can we put it that way? I mean, you
Well,
can't.
let me ask you a question. Can you love somebody whom you don't like?
That'd be a little bit difficult.
Yeah. Binz, what do you think?
Definitely, you can.
You can.
You can.
See, look at Jesus Christ. Did he like everyone? But he loved everyone.
There's a difference.
It's a different thing. I mean, you don't need to like somebody to love somebody, because liking.
There's one challenge is also right. Today
Right.
you are liking.
Yeah.
Tomorrow you will be hating the same person.
Oh.
Right, but you continue to see even in your family relationship.
Yeah.
Well, we started with the date. I mean, your attraction part. But let me tell you, our wives.
Yeah.
I mean, or for them, or for them to. I mean, us. We are not the same every day. Sometimes we are awful,
Yeah.
horrible even. So there are days when they can like us. I mean, some days they don't like us. But then we love each other. It's different, right?
So
It's,
love is
yeah.
in the will. It's a commitment that you take, right? You know, like irrespective of what I'm expecting, doesn't matter. I have taken the decision to sincerely make a gift to this other person every day.
Right.
Until
It's an act of the will.
It's an act of the will.
Yeah.
Thinking in the same line, but it wouldn't be right to say that attraction is wrong as such.
No,
No,
not at
attraction
all.
is
Attraction is a
divine.
gift.
It's a divine gift.
Yeah.
Attraction is a gift.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, if attraction was not there, human relationship was not possible. I mean, everybody,
Yeah.
we are attracted to each other. I mean, that's so beautiful. I mean, there is, in everyone, there is some beautiful thing that appeals to you, that attracts to you. I mean, that is the essence of every relationship. Attraction is beautiful. The erotic attraction that leads to life and family and generations and society, and that's how human beings thrive. Attraction is beautiful, attraction is divine, attraction is from the Lord. So we're not anyway saying attraction is bad.
So there has been a couple of new words added into the vocabulary when it comes to relationships, especially in campus. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with those words. We have benching.
The word of belching. Benching?
So we have
Okay,
benching.
benching.
We have situationships.
Okay.
Friends with benefits. That's
Yeah.
a common
Yeah.
word.
Right.
Yeah.
That we know.
And we have something called delulu. So it's like
Yeah.
delusion.
What did you say?
Delulu.
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 Yeah, delulu.
Wow.
It's when you're a
You're
little bit
delusional.
unrealistic. Yeah,
Delusional.
yeah.
Delusion.
You're a little bit unrealistic, but you're optimistic about the relationship. You're just maybe over romanticizing.
You're
the-
over optimistic about the
To
person.
a
Yeah.
point that you're blind,
You're blind, yes.
about the
Yeah,
reality
kind of. Yeah,
of the
yeah.
person.
So
Yeah.
basically, you're kind of eccentric, and then you're not living in reality. Actually, you're just negating all those realities and then living.
Give
in
me
your,
an example.
Living in your imagination, I think.
Can
right?
you guys give me an
Um,
example? Yeah.
An example would be, let's say you are in a relationship.
Yeah.
So I have a boyfriend, and let's say we get into a fight and he slaps me. But still I'm in love with him, right? So
Right.
according to me, I just assume that he slapped me because he deeply loves me, or there's a reason behind it. He maybe wills the good, or he wills my good, or maybe something like that. So I just optimistically look at the situation, but it might seem very unrealistic.
I'll
So-
give you
Yeah,
another
I
example,
understand.
right?
This
Maybe
is- yeah.
just correct me
Senseless,
if I'm wrong.
yeah.
Okay, so I think like she's referring to a condition where let's say the opposite guy may be into alcohol or maybe into drugs, and I'm overlooking all of this because I'm in love. I'm thinking that this person that's okay. Like he'll be fine, right?
yeah, that would be a better
Right?
example. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it comes to delulu, that would be
Right, not in delulu. I would say this attachment can happen.
like
Anywhere is
if
fine.
you're talking about situationships. So there is no commitment.
Absolutely
Not
no
necessarily
commitment,
any
yeah.
When you
attachments.
say no commitments, also I would say when you are spending more time with somebody of opposite sex, there's a chance for attachment, right? Attachment can
There
happen.
is a chance.
Yeah, there's a chance. Like if you text somebody for some straight to some 1 month, 2 months, there is a chance that you might get attached to this person.
Yeah, there is a
Without even seeing this
bonding
person.
that
The
develops.
bonding will happen. Your hormones will kick in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
So that will happen. Now, when you say delulu or situationship, when you say that I can handle n number of people at the same time, you are actually making a bonding with all these people, which is supposed to be exclusively given to one person in the context of marriage. You're now giving it to a lot of people, and that is going to
That's
be
where benching becomes relevant
It's
too.
a-
So
it's a recipe for
as
total disaster, I
As
would
I
say.
understand, benching is
IT benching.
when you have when you have a guy constantly that you're in relationship with, you keep another one
Yeah.
as
You
a
have a backup
as a
plan.
backup.
You have a backup plan.
In
right.
case this doesn't work out, you
Yeah.
have the next person. So
Yeah.
it is also a kind of something to do with emotional chastity. So that's where we say you should be pure in your emotions as well. So when sometimes we tend to keep somebody with you because you may have not received this from your father when you were young. So you need a strong father. If you don't have a strong father, you need that father figure with you. So, and then, and also an accompaniment, a male gives you a sense of
Security.
safety
Yeah.
and so you need all that. So you keep them. You manipulate somebody in such a way that you keep them with you always. And in case if that guy is not there, then you have the other one. This is actually not healthy. It is deep down. It has roots to what you would have gone through at an earlier stage. But then but this can be healed.
The thing is that there is a void
There's a void.
which has filled.
Yeah.
And we should also understand that
Broken
void-
families.
brokenness, the void I am carrying, and you think that this person can fill me completely, can take away all my sorrows, and he is the answer to all my questions. That won't be the case, right? We're not a superhuman to do all that, right?
Coming back to my question,
Yeah.
actually,
Yeah.
all of this is happening in campus.
Hmm.
So why does it seem quite impossible
No,
to
in-
actually?
in campus, I would say, right? So the framework that we are seeing in movies, right? The same saga of romantic movies, right? What the movies are portraying or the media is portraying, that this is very normal, right? Like you can, and look at in movies also the premarital sex is becoming normalized, right? Now what happens in movies? A guy seeing a girl, falling for her, and what he is saying, I'm in love, or love at first sight. Is he really in love? Do you believe in love at first sight?
I don't. Personally, I don't.
Attraction. I mean, we define that as
It is
attraction.
not-
Yeah.
Love at all.
Yeah.
What it is? It is just an attraction. It's just an infatuation. Yeah, you find something good in the
Yeah.
other person,
Yeah.
which you think and which you assume it as love. And now the guy strives to get this girl, impress. And he is doing some things to impress, and then finally get hold of it, right?
Yeah.
And finally, once he get hold of her, what happens? What can happen? The stages he has already explained, right? When the attractions between
Oh,
mutual.
yeah. Then you get physical. You get
Not
into.
first phase might be commitment, right? You
Yeah.
make a commitment, you talk a lot, you spend a time a lot, and then eventually you want to know more, and then eventually sexual union. And do you think campus is a time for all those things? Do you think you are a campus student, right?
Yeah.
Well, let's assume you are into a relationship, and all these things can happen, right? This is how it is designed. And do you think you have time for all those things?
I mean, a majority of the percentage
Hmm.
might be according to what you're saying, but I've honestly found people who are able to balance academics, who are
Yeah.
like excelling in
Hmm.
co-curricular activities, and still they have a wonderful boyfriend and they're in a relationship. So they
Yeah.
seem to have everything together.
Mm.
So
See, okay, so that means it needs to lead to marriage. So what is marriage? Marriage means you're open to children. Okay? A question is when you are, say, in your 20s or in your 18, 20, 21, that's when you're in campuses. Are you ready to become a mother, father? Are you ready to raise children? You're sound enough to educate your children? I mean, these are questions to be asked. But what happens is that we focus only on that romanticism, which is
One,
which is very
which
appealing.
is an emotional fulfillment, right? I need
Yeah.
somebody to be with me, right?
Let's say if you're not ready to become a mother,
Ah.
you're not ready, but you really want a companion in your life, and you're thinking about marriage. I mean,
Have a
maybe
good
you're not
friendship.
Yeah.
You can have a
Ah,
good friendship, right?
Vicious friendship, right?
Yeah, so how about thinking, okay, I'll date this boy for like, let's say 2 years, so that I can get to know more about him, maybe check, get to know more about him.
Yeah.
So, in
So
that
Well,
way.
in
when
the-
you
Go ahead.
when you say in campus, right? I'm trying. Basically, you want to get to know each other, right? So you spend a lot of time. There's 100% chance that there is an attachment is forming, and from campus, you may be doing your graduation. You will go into post graduation, and probably then another 2 years to find your career, get into a job, right?
Yeah.
So you're talking about a timeline of around 5 to 6 years, right? Time span of 5 to 6 years, and anything can happen, right? That time, you are initially attracted to this guy. Probably over the time, the attraction can fade actually, right?
There is a
Attraction
possibility,
can
yeah.
fade, and then the life situation of your life may be changed. His life situation might have changed, and probably one fine day he is saying that I don't want to continue in this. So there's hell lot of chance to there are a lot of probabilities, I would say, right? I'm giving you some perspectives, right?
Yeah, sure.
So this 7 years of time frame, and you have invested a lot of time into this person. You have given a lot of time. So, and probably your parents may not be aware of these things. They will get to know once you explain it to them, and then the parents may
Right.
object. A lot of
Yeah.
scenarios, right?
Yeah, I would also say, you're designed for this one person actually, because we are created in the image and likeness of God. So we are created to actually become a gift to the other. That means not just part of us, but fully. Okay, so that is why, you cannot love. I mean, I'm talking about erotic love that happens within marriage. I mean, it's impossible to love many people. Because many people means I won't have time for one particular person, but I will have to care all of them. That means my attention is divided. There's no way I can love. Love means my whole self is given to this one person. There is that whole, I make a gift of myself like we defined in the beginning. Now, when you do that, just imagine this happens within marriage. It should happen within. If it happens before marriage, you get closer, and then you're as good as married. That means that is the one flesh, that's union that's taking place. Not just physical, I'm talking about. There's emotional, intellectual, spiritual, all sorts of everything about you becoming one with the other person. Some like your soulmate kind of thing. And then there's no commitment. Commitment in sense, there's no external structure to your commitment. I mean, you're saying we love each other, but then there's nothing that holds you onto that decision. Because anything can happen. Like, he meets somebody better than you. Okay? You meet somebody better than him. Or something happens in your family. Or something happens, anything can happen, like he said. But then you're already so close to each other that now if you break, even if you try to break away, you're breaking a part of you. Because he is in you or she is in you. And then when you break away, it destroys you. It breaks you down. Because that's how much you've bonded, just as though you bond within marriage. Because within marriage, this is how you should, because you're literally becoming one flesh. And if that happens before marriage, and then you find out this is not good for me, there's no way you can get out, but you're forced to say yes to it because you're already into it. You cannot get out of it, and also your will is so blank and blinded that now even if you see evidence that this is not good for me, I'm not in a position to say no to it because I'm so blindly into it.
There are people who actually at one point in their relationship find out, there are a couple of red flags in here, or, it's not going the right way, and
Yeah.
they go for a breakup. And breakups are terrible sometimes.
Must be
It's
very
very
hard.
traumatic.
Very traumatic.
How do you heal from breakups? If you've been through a breakup, how do you heal?
Like Pope Benedict once said, there's nothing as close to the Holy Trinity as the marriage, as a family.
Oh, that's, yeah.
That's profound. No human experience is as close to the Trinity than a family in itself, because there's a father. Like in the Trinity, you have a father and you have a son, and father makes a gift of himself to the son. Son receives it and reflects back to the father as a gift. And then they become mutual gift to each other, and they become one flesh. And the love between them is another person, the Holy Spirit. And that God, who is three-person, is now says, we will create man in our own image and likeness. And he creates man and woman. Not just man and woman. Why? He wants man to love just the way he loves. Right? So that's why man becomes a gift to the woman becomes a gift to the man, and there comes from them
New life.
new life. Isn't this a perfect model in a human setting? You understand? So we image the love of the Father, love of God in our marriages. It's profound. It's big. That's why I said we should approach this with a lot of respect and understand. It's not child's play. Yeah, I get married in order that I can raise a family, and that family will have children. Imagine it's a whole generation that you today are raising. It's a responsibility.
Oof,
It's not just child's play.
So the step you take is a huge one.
It's a huge one.
So I think the first thing would be like understanding what is marriage. Very important, right? So
Right.
if you ask me, right, how do you prepare for marriage? Now, there's a big question, right, to youngsters. Those who are in a very young age, right? They have this attraction, and yes, they by default, they have this earning to become a gift to the other person. Now, that's where the education is important, right? So we need to share this good news from a very tender age, I would say. Like, they should understand this is not child's play. They should understand that this is a big project. This is a project of lifetime, and I should understand what marriage, like, it is like, I'm just reminded by a quote from Scott Hand's book. Marriage is humanly impossible. That is why God raised it to a sacrament. So it is not easy for two different persons from two different circumstances coming together and binded as one flesh. Not easy. So it requires tremendous effort from our side and the grace from God. So that will take some time, and we need to train ourselves to become that person.
Romance, when you talk about romance, now you're talking about actual living as a family.
Yeah.
That's totally different from this romantic phase where you only see the good of the other person, what is nice and bubbly and cheerful and interesting. But then it's only when you get to know deeper, you see the real colors, the real character, the character flaws and issues and challenges and mistakes and so you see all the reality becomes evident to you. Then, if what drives you is your attraction, you're immediately put off because he doesn't meet your expectations now, because he painted a picture or she painted a picture which was very attractive. But then once you get to know, it's not that same picture anymore, So you we get to see what is projected, especially social media. These days, a lot of relationship is picked up from social media, where you see only what they project to you, not what they are. And some of them even pursue their relationship and they become so bonded they've not even met each other, they've not seen each other.
So what are they actually attracted to? They're attracted to a fake image that they have put up in their profile.
It's just
right?
an image.
You don't know this person at all.
It's something like, you go to watch a movie and the heroine is so beautiful and you're so attracted and then you somehow manage to marry. Just imagine. Who are you marrying? You're marrying the image that you saw on the
Portrayed in the
screen.
movie,
It's not the real person.
True.
So let's say if, as you said, if marriage is now my priority, let's say marriage is my priority, and I wish to pursue someone. So nowadays we have so many options around us. We have matrimonial sites, we have dating apps. I mean, when I just open my Spotify, I get so many. I guess they figure out from the age or something that the details that you've given. There are so many of these sites that pop up, and
Spotify also.
yeah, on
The
Spotify.
music app.
Yeah,
Spotify what?
yeah, they have advertisements.
Advertisement.
So yeah,
Advertisement for?
for the matrimonial sites, it's like find your spouse.
Really?
Yeah, this year.
Okay, you have advertisements coming in.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
No, basically based on your age.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
they
figure out
prefer-
your
and
age.
your preferences in
they keep
music, right?
reminding you it's time to get married.
Okay.
Basically, they are learning from you. Who are you? And I would say
So these are dating sites.
Yeah, there
or
are dating.
matrimonial sites.
Like we have dating apps wherein you find people to date. Then we have matrimonial sites, which are totally different thing.
Okay.
Talking about matrimonial sites, I guess it's just I feel often there is no difference between a matrimonial site and an Amazon shopping platform because
There you
you
go.
have all the details in there.
There you go.
Yeah.
The size, the height, how much.
The features, and the
everything.
warranty.
The only difference I personally feel is like on Amazon you have reviews of people who bought it and said,
Are
okay,
there
this is not
discounts?
good.
Are there discounts? Coupons?
yeah.
But here you need to find out, you need to meet
Amazon
the person
Super Sale,
and
Summer Sale.
find out.
I mean, this is absolutely right. You hit the nail.
I'm not like
There,
personally.
I think I think when you say, I think we should address this one question, right? When is the right time for me to look for a spouse? I think we have not addressed that question, right?
Yeah.
When is the right time? If I ask you for an answer, right? From my side, as a man, I can enter into this process of finding a spouse when I am ready to become a father, when I'm ready to become a husband, when I have the capacity and potential to take care of my spouse and the kids who are coming out of that, marriage, right? That is when you're ready for marriage. And for girls, when they can ready to become a mother.
Nowadays, nobody wants to be a mother.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Yeah.
that is something I think if you see the campus guys and girls who are entering into a relationship, do they have this perspective like I should be a mother, I should be open to become a mother, to take care of my kids, to take care of my husband, to take up the responsibility of a household? No, all they are exploring behind is a romantic relationship, exotic vacations, and some surprises, gifts, emotional fulfillments, and what not, right? This is its expectation.
But there are people who say maybe we'll not have children for like maybe the first 5 years of marriage.
Then I would say they are not ready for marriage.
So let's say you're thinking about marriage.
Yes.
Marriage is your priority,
Right.
and it has reached a point wherein you need to start thinking about finding someone. So what would be the first? I mean, there are so many moves that you can make. There are dating apps, there are matrimonial sites. So let's talk about dating first. I guess dating is a little bit of a taboo, at least in some cultural context, where people feel maybe dating is not the right way. Matrimonial sites are the only way. So I mean, how do you go about it? Like if you want to pursue someone.
Let me just want to clarify when what is dating and those things. So let's be clear on what we're talking about. So you say, I feel I'm ready now. So I am assuming that would include your own realization that you are now ready to become a mother, to raise a child, raise a family. Okay, now you're mentally, emotionally, intellectually, economically, all now getting ready to pursue that, take up that responsibility. It involves, it involves sacrifice.
To reaching this state is not easy also.
It's not easy. I mean, that's why it's important. So we need to have all these, we need to know what is marriage, what am I getting into. It's very important. Otherwise, you will run away when you see the the demands of marriage. So when you know that, okay, now so I say, I know all these things. I'm getting ready. I'm ready now. So what is the next step? So you need to now find out, who do I become a gift to? My whole life now, I need to commit to somebody until I die. Who is that person? Now you have a choice. Nobody will put somebody in your throat, onto you. Nobody will force you. You have the freedom. God has given you freedom to choose. Okay? So how do you exercise your freedom there? Now, I would say, God has not only given you the freedom and the reasoning and the capacity to know, discern, find out. He's also given you a family. He's also given you friends. He's given you a community. Given you a lot of inputs. There's a lot of teachings. There's scripture. Everything is around you. The saints who have lived before, and a lot of good advices. And then we also know where this is all going, because the ultimate aim of marriage is union with God. I don't know if we have talked about it, but we come from God, we go back to God, so that we become one with God.
And marriage is one way to it, actually.
It's about
it's like we've talked about vocations. So we have different vocations. You can serve your life as a single person, and you help others, you offer your life in service of the others, so that you get everybody reach their destiny. So it's called a singlehood, where you become a servant of the kingdom of God, being single. It's not because you hate marriage or you have an issue with marriage, or no, that's not the reason why you choose to be a single. It's because you feel the call that God is calling you to dedicate your life to help others to reach their destination. So you say it's a missionary work that you're entering into. The second option is, men can be priests, women can be nuns and celibates and sisters, and so that's another call. It's a great call, to dedicate your life for the service of the church. So you can guide people, take them, and also you can, as priests, you can minister the sacraments to them. And then you have the wonderful married life. They're all good. Each one has their own challenges. It's not only a challenge, these are all opportunities for you to work out your challenges. Basically, if you're all selfish, because we have fallen. We were all, we created in God's own image, but we goofed up.
We know what happened. The fall.
In the fall,
we know the story of Genesis.
we chose ourselves as gods. We rejected God, so we became so selfish. Everything in our lives is now driven by selfishness and self-centeredness, and so that's the biggest struggle we all have. So even when I think about a spouse, I'm thinking what is beneficial for me. I am thinking, how can I use that person's abilities and then looks and characters for my own good? That's where it becomes a little tricky and difficult, but that's not the call. It's just the other way. How can I become a gift to the other? So now you're not discerning, who can I get married and then be happy? No, you're thinking, who do I become a gift to? But then, as you mentioned, these days matrimonial websites, they come just like Amazon website. You have a lot of features mentioned. It'll tell you the color, the height, the weight, the salary, and the aspirations, the goods and the bads, and
Yeah, the only thing that's missing out is the reviews. On Amazon you have reviews.
Birds are not mentioned in matrimony.
Yeah,
yeah, bads.
you need to meet the
You're
person
only
and then
telling
get to know.
your
Correct. So you
Goodness.
only
Oh,
get
yeah.
to see.
That's true.
That's true. But then,
the bird will be revealed after marriage.
right,
You're
and
exposed.
I'm assuming the dating sites, are they for simply just this romantic relationship? They must. It's not marriage
I mean,
that
people twist
people
it.
might get.
Yeah, they manipulate
understand,
it. Yeah.
but then these are basically meant for this temporary
Yeah.
relationship.
Student relationship.
Yeah, much like a hookup culture. I mean, basically, you get to see somebody who's interested
Yeah.
in your looks and the way you have. I mean, you just spent a few
it's like
days. with-
time pass.
No,
kind
there
of
are actually
entertainment.
two extremes to it. Like there
Yeah.
are people who simply,
There
want
are
to hook up. Yeah.
probably good
yeah, and
good
there are
websites
people who,
as well.
who are there
right.
with the right intention also. Yeah.
Okay, correct. So we need to choose which is a good platform for me. I mean, you should be very clear as to who am I looking for, and what is my intention of getting married. Do I have the right intentions? Because the right intention will lead you to bliss, to heaven. Because a family today is a miniature of heaven. So you begin to experience something of heaven, and then you know that you will experience heaven on that day. You're looking at a matrimonial site, or however, whatever it is. Now, sometimes it can even come through your friends or through your
Yeah.
parents.
Yeah.
They can bring in a proposal. Hey, what about this? So that's good. I mean, you don't have to exclude your parents.
Yeah.
I've seen youngsters saying, I don't want my parents to, say anything about my future spouse. I will find my spouse. I will decide. Well, you can do that. I mean, there's absolutely nothing. But then, what about help? I mean, because you're in your 20s, your world is very small. But then, how about somebody who knows the other person a little better and say, why don't you look at this side also? Why don't you see this? Do you see this side of this man? Is it, just think about that. And also, you're going to live together. It's a cultural, there's a lot of things, families, the family, the culture, the faith, your
Yeah.
faith, because you're going to raise your children in faith.
The moral
So,
standards.
Yeah.
everything. So it's very important. And actually, your family can help you a lot in this process. But they don't take decisions for you. They shouldn't take decisions for you. You should take the
So-
decision. They can help. And
One thing I want to add there in this
Yeah,
process
go
is in this looking after the other. I mean, looking for other person, right? So the intention is very clear. Looking for marriage. Now the challenge would be like most of the people are saying, right? When you spend more time, there's a chance for attachment. So that should not happen actually, because this is a very initial phase of it, right? You're just checking on each other, just trying out, the beliefs, the moral standards. You're just basically, trying to understand whether this will work out.
What would be the main questions that might be discussed?
You
in
should
such-
definitely speak about your career, your aspirations, your beliefs. What is your moral standards? What are you about your family planning? All those things has to be and
I mean, whatever is important to
what
you.
was important, right?
And I would say your faith life, what about your children?
Yeah.
How will you raise your children? What about our family? What about both of our families? What is our relationship between them? These are all things that we can discuss. But how many meetings do you think it is necessary for you to make that judgment whether I want to become a gift to this
I would
person?
say 2 to 3 should be more than enough,
Do
sufficient.
you agree? 2 to 3? So maybe a couple of hours
Yeah, that'll work.
each day, and 3 days would be.
Now, if you go beyond that,
Yeah.
there's a
Yeah.
high chance that you're going to develop kind of an attachment.
Because you know what, like we said, it's love. For you to love someone, you don't need to really like them. We already said
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So this is not like you don't even have to pursue somebody whom you like. I mean, frankly, because marriage is a decision to love. Okay, and if
I
you
just want to
meet a
add one
person,
more thing, right? When you say like,
yeah,
there is no need for an attraction also.
yeah, attraction and like I believe is I mean when you're
Ah.
attracted
But
to
you can't
something,
say that.
No, when
you
I
say
say I
like,
like
yeah,
this cup, I'm
yeah,
not attracted to this cup.
yeah, because it's an object.
But
No, it can happen
Yeah.
with your friends also, right? I'm not attracted to a friend, but I like my friend. Correct. It can work with
Okay,
person also.
I
When I
believe
say
it kind
no,
of,
why I'm adding this attraction
yeah,
point is
yeah,
right. So
yeah.
you don't need to be attracted. So it is like you will get to know, you will understand that I need to put effort to love this person. I will learn from the very initial days of marriage that
Yeah,
I will
I
put
think
efforts.
attraction will happen after that. It can
It can
happen
happen.
after that.
It can happen.
Attraction needs to happen.
It will
yeah,
happen.
I mean, you don't get into it unless until you are attracted. Right?
Or no,
No,
actually, that is what I'm trying to say. You can get into
you
it.
can. Yeah.
You can get into it
I think that's a myth, right?
without
I
an
think-
attraction.
I
I mean, I'll think about it. Now, suppose if my, I mean, I see a girl who I know, I come to know that she's good, her family background, everything is nice, and then her aspirations, her dreams, she shared everything with me. I mean, we're not attracted to each other, but then we kind of get to know each other. Now, what I'm saying is, whatever it is, it is okay. It is okay to get married to somebody whom you're attracted to. Absolutely fine. I mean,
Yeah.
it should be. I mean, it can be. But it is equally okay to get married to somebody whom you're not attracted to now because you don't know much. Because your whole life remaining for you to get to know each other. It's not just that you know everything about somebody before you get married. That's not possible.
Yeah.
It's impossible. I mean,
No.
even if you marry,
Attraction will help you actually in the initial
Yeah.
days. If you're attracted to each other, things will come automatically.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, that's where we need to talk about the right attraction. See,
Yes.
there is a sensual attraction.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about the sensual
Emotional.
attraction, the sentimental
Sentiment.
attraction. These are two kinds of attraction. But the third kind of attraction is the attraction knowing that he is a child of God, knowing that he is created in the image and likeness of God. He's a man, he's a woman, he's a precious woman of God, and then he has that value. I mean, so you love that person, not what he has.
Not what he or she can offer. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not loving because of some expectations. I'm loving because she's going to be my wife. That's the only thing.
Right. So
Yeah.
there is a possibility of getting married to somebody whom you're not attracted now.
Yeah.
But you will get attracted the more you get to know
Yes.
that person, and the more you get. I mean, the moment you'll start loving that person.
Right.
How do you do that? Now, I've chosen in my mind that I'm going to love this person. That means I am now willing to make a gift of myself for the good of the other person, you know. So how do I do that? Now, for that, there's a covenant that we go through called marriage. Okay, so once you decide to get married, you know, there's a promise that you take in front of God, in front of everybody, and there's a covenantal relationship you get into. You know, is a spiritual covenantal relationship that you get into, and then after marriage, you come. You know, there's a physical union. There the marriage begins, right? It's only there the marriage begins. And then how I live my life for the other. When you live out your life for each other, that's when you begin to love each other, you know, until you you're becoming one flesh, and that one flesh becoming a greater reality every day as you grow.
So I'm
Yeah.
just connecting to what you said previously, like in the beginning, that falling in love actually is like choosing to love, and that happens in marriage.
Yes.
Okay. So while you date, you know, there are people who ask, how far is too far in dating? You know, you really want to get to know that person, right?
Yeah.
So there are people, you know, it's like a spectrum. So one extreme is people say no kissing before marriage. Another extreme is let's find out how compatible we are. Let's get physical. Yeah, let's get physical.
I mean, that is the dangerous part of it.
No,
Yeah.
I've seen friends, you know, who are basically looking for a potential spouse in matrimonial sites, you know, they are like talking to 2 or 3
Girls at the
girls
same
at the
time.
same time.
Oh.
It's difficult actually. I would prefer don't do it actually, right? So it's like it's like you're basically doing a comparison with in Amazon also. It will show similar products. Something doing right. You're just trying which one is better. Like it's not like that. When you looking for a spouse, you focus on one. You get to know if it is not working out, then that chapter is closed. You get a good closure.
Yeah.
Then
But here
move.
you're not telling that matrimonial sites are
Huh?
wrong.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely. It's a good tool. Why
Yeah.
not? You should use it actually, right? Yeah.
Right.
So, but the intention of you using to matrimonial sites is not to find somebody who is who can offer you a lifetime of opportunity. No, not like that. It is like I'm finding somebody whom I can give myself to, right? So with the right intention, you are entering into, and
Yeah.
then when you say how far is too far in dating,
The
so
boundaries.
the
yeah.
first thing I want to remind again, it's like the problem of attachment, right? So we have to draw a boundary, right? Like if this is not working out, I should make sure that I'm not attached or I'm not giving any false expectations to this other person, right? And it's good practice in matrimonial sites also. It's like when you reject somebody, don't take it into heart that you're not, the other person should not take it into heart that you're not beautiful or you're not enough. Not like that. It is simply not working out.
Yeah,
That is why.
yeah.
So it's good to give a correct answer when somebody is basically interested in you. I've not seen from my own example experience, I would say none of the girls won't respond. They keep remain shut down. There's no response, right? When you won't get any response, you'll be like, oh my god, what's happening, right? But whatever response I've received from girls, if it is not working out, I would say no. When I reject, I will give a response that will help them for them also, right? They can move on to the other person, right? So it's
I think they might also be thinking, I don't want to make them feel bad by saying
there
no.
is-
but
there
I think
is,
it's
yeah.
not
Yeah.
required, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's always,
But then what you
we
say
need
makes
communication,
sense.
right?
You need to clearly communicate to them that
Yeah.
somebody is not pursuing them, so they can look for somebody else. So,
Yeah.
that's
Of
very
course,
important.
yeah.
That's important.
And boundaries, I would say, right? When you start talking, things are working out. When you feel that it's good, I can move ahead. You let your parents know that this is working out.
Right.
Then with the right intention, allowing your parents also to be involved,
Yeah.
go for a kind of a fixation, right? There's a certain.
I would say
Yeah.
keep everything that is erotic,
Yeah.
reserve it for marriage.
Outside, yeah, it should be
Reserve
only
it for marriage.
reserve it for marriage.
Reserve it for including
Yeah.
a passionate kiss. And, everything needs to be reserved for marriage.
No, if
Nothing.
if you are genuinely approaching somebody, then you're not in a hurry actually, right? Are you in a hurry? No. If you are genuinely approaching somebody, you're not in a hurry. I don't need to be, get to know or sexually. I don't need to. Because I'm entering into this with the right intention. I know
Yeah.
what will happen in marriage. Marriage is the right context.
This is also because sometimes people define marriage as a license to
Yeah.
have sex.
Yes.
I mean, though sexual intercourse plays a pivotal part of marriage, but it's not just that. It's much, because sexual union is only a foretaste.
Yep.
It's only a sign. When you say a sign, you understand what I'm saying. So
It's pointing to somewhere.
it's like an icon. On your computer, you have, suppose you have Microsoft Word as a program, and then you have an icon which is Microsoft Word. That actually, when you click on it, it goes into the program. So that means this is an icon, right? We call it the icons, right?
Yeah.
So it leads you, or when you're traveling, so to say, to a place and you see a board, and that board says, say, 50 kilometers. So that board is only a sign, it's not the place. So similarly, sexual union is not the destination. It is only a board. It is only pointing to something much, much, much bigger. That is why some choose to be celibates. You understand? Because this is a sign.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is that sometimes people are too eager to enter into the sexual act or the erotic feelings and experiment with that, thinking that this is like a license that I have now. Now that I've fixed the marriage, and then this is I can get. No, wait a minute. Now, this is like you look at the partner as a sex tool. You tend to, but then think about children. Think about families. Think about relationship between two families. Think about
The big picture.
sharing
The big picture.
burdens, and think that there's a big picture. It's not just physical union.
When it comes to dating, it's more of like a spectrum, and there are two extremes to it. So not really extremes, but there are a few people who take the decision not to even kiss before they get into marriage, and there's another side wherein people say we need to check the compatibility, we need to get physical about this. So they often say they want to get into physical intimacy because they want to maybe know if this person is going to use them, or how it's going to turn out. You don't know anything about the person actually.
Yeah. There's this issue of someone unable to trust other person, and that's in the culture now. So we are trying every means to know if this person would treat me well. I don't want to take that risk. So that's probably why we have all these difficulties coming in, like you said. But I would stick with what you said in the first option, where you would even give that passionate, erotic kiss as part of the foreplay, within marriage and not before that. Because there's a beauty in preserving what is sexual, what is erotic, what belongs to marriage within marriage. Because before that, it's all about the decision, the big decision and preparation for that big event, and not taking the events which should unravel within marriage, taking it outside. What happens is you might ask what is wrong, so don't we need to check compatibility? It's actually sexual compatibility. I mean, you should look at your cultural compatibility, maybe in our context especially, and also faith. Is it as a person of faith? Is it possible for us to raise our children in an environment of faith and prayer and trust and sacraments and all that? So that needs to be checked. But sexual compatibility, as long as you're a woman and that is a man, you're sexually compatible. There's no issues. Generally, I mean, that is what sexual compatibility about. Then the other things are basically, like you said, you want to know if that man would use me in my marriage. So somebody is exposed to pornography. Will he try out everything that he's been watching in pornography on me? Now, if you feel when you talk to them, I think we should have an open conversation about all these issues.
During the dating process.
Process.
I would even suggest to have that tough conversation, right? So when you go for that one-to-one with this person, you should take that, that struggle of having that tough conversation. Like, I think most of the time people will be showing their very cool figure, right? Perfect kind of a setup that they are showcasing to the other person. But I think it's good to have these tough questions very early, so that we will figure out whether this is going to work out in a very early phase.
Right. It might help him actually.
Of course.
If somebody who wants to actually to sacrifice for the marriage.
And to understand the expectations from the other person.
He would know that this is wrong. What he's been going through is wrong, and he'll at least make an effort to get out of it, and then really pay for the marriage. And I think they will go through that. But then exposing yourself sexually before marriage is dangerous. That's foolishness to a certain extent, because you are letting the other person use you, or you using the other person without any formal commitment. There's no marriage. There's no way you can be assured that he's going to be, or she's going to be around tomorrow. So everything that is sexual, erotic should be preserved to marriage.
So that's why we
Yeah.
don't go for premarital sex.
And somebody who
Absolutely.
is looking forward to have a faithful, loving marital life will have the potential to wait until marriage to go into all those things that should happen within the context of marriage, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If it is real love,
If it is
real
real
love
love.
waits.
Real love waits. Love is patient.
Love is patient.
Love is
Love is
patient.
kind.
Love is kind.
Love is
So
patient.
you read Ephesians, you check on.
Corinthians.
Corinthians.
Yeah, sorry.
Corinthians, yeah.
Corinthians.
Yeah.
You'll understand
Yeah.
the traits of love,
Yeah.
authentic love. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, since we've got an idea about, the whole process of dating and its purpose, how do you prepare for, you said that marriage is a sacrament. God has raised it to a sacrament. It's so beautiful. So how do you prepare for something that's so beautiful and precious?
Well, I would say approach it with great reverence, and we should shudder because, say, Pope Benedict once, I remember mentioning there's no other human experience which is as close to the Trinity, the Holy Trinity, as family.
That's
There's a
beautiful.
father,
Yeah.
son, both of them coming together. Then there's the Holy Spirit. Similarly, there's a father, mother coming together. Then there's a baby, a child. So it's a replica of
The Holy
the
Trinity.
divine reality, our destiny. So we should approach it with our understanding. I am getting into something really sacred and holy, and this is not merely a satisfaction of my bodily desires, or it's not just combining incomes, it's not just a friend for life. No. This is much, much bigger than that. You are now taking a decision that would decide generations to come. Your children, your children's children, their children, their children's going to be. So it's, first of all, you should know what you're getting into. We should understand that, especially from the church's point of view, from the teachings of the fathers of the church, from the saints, and from the scriptures. Understand, and also from the teachings, especially John Paul II and all the other, understand what marriage is, what you're getting into, what it entails, what it demands, what is the purpose of it. We've been explaining all that now.
Yeah.
Then we need to prepare yourself for that big event. Okay? Now, how do you prepare yourself? Because you don't know now who am I going to get married to. You don't know. But then you're preparing, you're saying, Lord, I want, make me a good wife, make me a good husband for that person whom I'll be saying yes to. Okay? Generally, we tend to pray the other way. We pray, give me a good guy like this and like that, whoever that guy is, remove everything from him, every bad habits, that's our prayer. But then if you reverse that prayer, it'll help you prepare yourself. And as you prepare yourself, God might be preparing your person there also.
Yeah,
Yeah. And then is the process of finding out who is this, who can I say yes to. And when you say yes to, or when you are thinking of this future spouse, you should understand that it is not somebody whom you can have the benefit of, friendship, or it's not that. It's much more than that. The perspective that we should have is that who can I be a gift to for life? I am a gift. I'm going to become a gift, and then I'm going to give that gift to whom? My life. So it's a big decision. It's your life. So you want to make sure that you don't just throw away your life to somebody, because Scripture says, don't throw your pearls
Away to the
swines.
pigs. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a process of identifying who do you want to become a gift to. Now there, in our context, we are blessed so that our parents are very involved in our lives every day,
Yeah.
So even after we are 18, they continue to be around for us, which is good. So you don't have to do all the homework yourself, finding out and then seeing the background, discerning if this is the guy. So there is all help that comes from around, okay? And then we have the elders and friends and all that, and you also now you're open to people around you, and then you're seeing if this guy is a potential guy, is this girl is a potential girl. And then when you see somebody who's good, pray about it, bring it to your parents or bring it to yourself, take it up and pray about it. And if you think this is you see potential, and your parents also and your friends, I mean whoever wills your good,
Yeah.
and discuss it with them, and they'll feel, okay, I think, yeah, there is something in it. And you can actually, with the consent of the parents, you can start meeting them, and fix a date, and fix a time, and so both parents know where you are. And also the venue should be like an open space, public place where people can see you and things like that. That don't go to a movie or a secluded place. Yeah, there shouldn't be any vulnerability or so. And there you can, purely with the intention of discerning whether this is the man I want to become a gift to, ask questions and open conversations.
Those hard questions.
Discuss, ask the hard questions and get to know.
Yeah.
And then couple or three or four meetings down the line, I think you should be able to sense if this is the guy or this is the girl. Yeah.
And then
take it again back to your parents, discuss, and then move forward. I mean, that's what I think. And then it doesn't stop there. Be on your knees, because it's a big decision, because initially, like, all of us come from broken, or broken side to all of us, so none of us are perfect. So you have people who've been exposed to pornography, which is quite possible these days, because 90% of people are exposed to pornography, even at the age of 11. I mean, average age is 11, and both men and women these days. So what you do, so then you discuss, yes, I am exposed to all these bad things, and I know that's not love, that's not sex, that's not what I want to do. I want to reinvent this. So that when you can actually take the help of all these resources that we have about real, what is marriage, what is sex, real sex, and what is it meant for, and all that. Understand that, and then begin a new life. Maybe in the beginning it's tough. Because you both are learning, there might be a lot of misunderstanding. You might feel used by your spouse, but then you're growing together. When you feel used, you tell your husband or tell your wife, I feel used. I mean, that's how he knows. Oh, what is that? Oh, that means I touched you with the intention of only using your body for my pleasure, and I never cared about you. Oh, so this will. It's
a slow process, yeah.
Yeah, it's a process. So it's a beautiful process. That's why I always feel for every marriage to know whether it is successful, you can't do that in 6 months or 1 year. It'll take time, because from that peak of when you start the marriage, it goes down and then it picks up. So you have to wait for at least 10 years for a marriage to really be strengthened and mature. Yeah, what do you think?
I think you covered most of it. You covered more than that.
That's green flag.
Yeah, so I think one particular thing which I would like everybody to, they can practice, right, whenever, when they have this desire to become a gift, right, like they can start writing down, what are the qualities or expectations about my future spouse. So you can write like a title, like my
beloved spouse.
Yes, you can give your whatever name you can give, and then write down the qualities that you are looking forward to see in your spouse. Make your list. You can like, and then finally remove beloved spouse, put your name.
You have to remove the name now.
You have to remove the name and put your name.
Okay.
And just check on myself, like introspect whether I have those qualities I'm looking in my spouse. If not, if it is there, well and good. Improve it, master it. If it is not there, work for it and train for it, so that you can be that person, because that is what is most important, right? You're offering yourself to the person. Yeah. Marriage is like, you're not expecting, you're actually demanding, right? It's like giving. In giving, you receive also, right?
Yeah.
So that's how it works. Yeah?
Right. So when you write the good things, not the bad things. Like
So if you are looking forward to a wife who says
Yeah.
always truthful, then be that man of
Yeah.
truth.
Honest. Yeah.
If you're looking forward for a woman of faith, be that man of faith. If
yeah.
you're looking for a man, for a woman of suffering, you can
Yeah.
suffer you without complaining.
I guess
You
that
should
list
be-
would be a big realization for us.
Yeah.
All
When
of
you
us,
look
yeah.
at the list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lot of work to do
And
for
then
ourselves.
in marriage also, we might think like, if she makes the first move, then I will take the next move. Or, like, let's say if there is some conflict, they're in a mood of situation, right?
Who
Yeah,
will
yeah.
forgive first?
Who will forgive
ask
first?
Who'll
Yeah.
say sorry first?
Yeah, who will
Ah,
say
so
first?
instead of waiting for her to do something, you take that step,
Yeah.
Be ready to humble yourself, right? Because at the end of the day, what is your focus? My family has to prosper.
Yeah.
And if something is kind of happening, it is my responsibility. I
To
take that
bring it back.
initiative,
Yeah.
reconcile at the earliest rather than, taking it forward. So I would say most of the divorces which is happening today, it is like because of ego, right? Who will take the first step to, who will humble himself?
Yeah.
We look at Jesus Christ, He is a perfect model
and
for
also
us.
marriage is not about you.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about your ego. I mean,
Your
that's
ego.
something that you need to keep reminding
Yeah.
yourself. Marriage is not about me. It is something bigger.
Bigger than.
We become the servant of marriage. Marriage doesn't become our servant. Yeah. So we become the servant of the family. So everything, when I do something, I am, it is not about me. It's not my it's about my family. So everything, I mean, your spouse and yourself, everything that you give away, or you're willing to sacrifice your own personal advantages, aspirations, dreams, all that, for the sake of the family.
Yeah.
The family is the boss here now.
Yes.
So
the
that is where
priority.
you need to
The
have.
priority.
You need to know the end goal. You have to be very clear on your end goal as a family.
Yeah.
If you don't know that destination, what I'm looking forward,
Yeah.
then it's going to be a tough journey
Yeah.
actually.
And goal is heaven,
Yeah.
is your ultimate union with God.
So I think it's.
Well, that's-
I don't know. I don't remember the saint who said this, because I think the quote is, the primary responsibility of family is to take your spouse and kids to heaven.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So that is it. Yeah.
So we've been talking about preparing for marriage, and
Yeah.
there are people who really want that, who want to really get into marriage because they earn for that companionship, someone who will be with them through their thick and thin. But sometimes we are not ready maybe to welcome a child once we are married. Maybe we wait for 5 years because of our financial status or the career that we are into. So it's here we think about the concept of using contraceptives. So there is a thing that we always talk about, that it's better to use contraceptives than to do an abortion when you're not ready to be a parent, when you're not ready to take care of a child. Because if you're not ready, then it leads to abortion. So why don't you use contraceptives? So what's your take on that?
Yeah, like I said, let's not reduce marriage to an arrangement for a companionship. That's the first mistake that we are making. And I think we should understand that marriage is ordered towards union and procreation. That means union, physical, mental, intellectual, spiritual union of the husband and wife, and also procreation, children. That is the objective of marriage. Then, if you're not ready for children now, I would say, whatever you're trying to achieve before marriage, achieve that, then get married. Okay, if that is that that bigger priority for you. But then, what is ideal is to leave your future in the hands of God, right?
Yep.
Because everything that you have is given by God, and then God can help you in any way He wants.
Also, anything can change also at any point of
Yeah.
time. There's nothing
Right.
permanent in life.
Yeah,
right?
it's so beautiful if you can trust the God who's given you life,
Yeah.
and then given that person the life, and your children life, right? I mean, so you can trust him and say, Lord, yes, I am willing to be a mother, if I am willing. Okay, so my career is important to me, but then my career comes as a servant of my family. That if I know that, then you trust that God will take care of your children. When you have one child, God will give you an increase probably. Then you have two children, I'm sure God will give you more means for you to support. And this is from the experience. I'm sure you have experienced it. I
Every
have
child is
experienced
a
it.
blessing.
Every child blessing comes, with every child. So yeah, so there is, waiting for 5 years to have a child, and the problem is if you might resort to say contraception during these days, because I don't think. Contraception. The problem is now what is contraception? It is morally not right, because you are preventing. It is you're preventing life, and marriage is all about life. So you're acting against the purpose of life, first of all, and then NFP. Now you said people use NFP during this period, which is also morally, we can become morally wrong, because NFP is meant to space between children. That means you already have a child, and then you want the father and mother to be able to give maximum attention that the child requires in these initial ages, and then after that, have the next child. So that spacing is good. Right?
So NFP stands for natural.
Natural family planning. Yeah, natural family planning. So you rely on your natural cycles. So you refrain from entering into a physical union during the times of fertility of your spouse. Right. So that's what it is.
So one additional point, right? Most of the people might have asked this question, like, if in contraception also you're doing the same thing, NFP is also sounded similar to me. I've heard
because
comments like that.
Yeah, in NFP also you're in one way or the other naturally saying no
but
to the child.
There is a change there, actually. I just want to clarify that. So what happens in contraceptive? You're completely blocking the will of God. Like, let's say if God wants to give you a new child, you're blocking it. You're saying complete no to that, right? It is like you're obstructing the will of God. But in NFP, you're not obstructing anything. You're open to life. Like, you are relying on the natural cycles of the woman. Like, you are avoiding sexual intimacy during the fertile period of the woman. But you're still open to life. Like, let's say if God wants me to give a new child, I'm ready to accept that.
You're loving each other.
You're loving each other.
Just that you've mutually decided not
Right.
to enter into a physical union. So you're not. So only when you enter into a physical union. So when you enter into a physical union with your spouse, your body speaks a language. That language is saying, I am now willing to become a father. And the mother says, I am now ready to become a mother. And their body gets ready to that. And that's when you block the very life that God gives there.
Thanks, guys, for joining us. Actually, I'm so blessed and so grateful because there are a few things that maybe we have already heard about. I'm sure most of our listeners had a really good time listening to you both. So thanks for joining us. For our listeners out there, Project Lily is available on all social media platforms. I'm sure you guys had a wonderful time today and got to get different perspectives and beautiful knowledge about a lot of topics today. And if you want more, please follow us share this video, get it to your friends, people who you really love. Until we meet next time, goodbye.